Long after humanity has vanished from existence, the universe will continue its cosmic dance, unfolding spectacular events that we'll never get to witness. Previously, I've explored phenomena destined to occur in our relatively near future. Catastrophic asteroid collisions with Earth, Saturn's majestic rings slowly fading into oblivion. Today, however, we're venturing far beyond those timescales. I'm going to transport you trillions upon trillions of years forward, revealing mind-bending events that will reshape the cosmos long after every trace of us has disappeared. Beginning with what's cosmically just around the corner, scientists predict that Jupiter's legendary Great Red Spot will vanish within the next several hundred years, perhaps even within mere decades. This Great Red Spot is nothing more than an absolutely colossal atmospheric storm. It's been churning relentlessly for at least 2 centuries, though it may have existed far longer. When I say colossal, I'm not exaggerating. This tempest spans 1.3 times Earth's entire diameter and generates screaming winds that reach nearly 1,000 kilometers per hour. Yet this giant continues shrinking. During the 1800s, the spot measured roughly 4 times its current size, and measurements confirm contracts further every single year. While terrestrial storms barely survive a few weeks, this Jovian maelstrom has persisted for hundreds of years. Eventually, probably long after we're gone, this ancient storm will finally dissipate into Jupiter's turbulent atmosphere. Fast forward to the year 50,000, when Earth will enter a transition toward a genuinely terrifying epoch. We're currently experiencing an interglacial period, essentially the warm interval between ice ages. When this comfortable phase ends, conditions will become brutally cold. Throughout the following tens of thousands of years, global temperatures will nosedive, and enormous sections of the northern hemisphere will vanish beneath massive advancing glaciers. Ice sheets worldwide will expand dramatically, blanketing vast territories across North America, Europe, and Asia. These growing glaciers will trap enormous quantities of water, causing ocean levels to plunge by approximately 100 meters. Entire ecosystems will migrate toward warmer equatorial zones, while deserts expand and tropical environments contract significantly. This transformation would devastate human civilization. Agriculture would become extraordinarily challenging, and securing fresh water would evolve into a worldwide crisis. This glacial period seems inevitable in our future, unless it isn't. Some scientists suggest that human-driven climate change might actually delay this ice age indefinitely or potentially prevent it completely, essentially allowing us to skip the next glaciation cycle entirely. By that distant era, perhaps humanity will have developed technology capable of mitigating the impacts of these natural cycles. Personally, I'm relieved we'll miss experiencing this frozen nightmare. Looking toward the extraordinarily distant future, approximately 50 to 100 million years ahead, Antarctica will transform once more into a verdant, tropical paradise. Yes, you read that correctly, once more. People rarely discuss the fact that Antarctica was previously a lush tropical haven, boasting a climate comparable to contemporary Italy. Seriously, Antarctica existed as just another temperate continent until, over millions of years, it gradually drifted southward. This migration spanned nearly 100 million years and coincidentally overlapped with a period when atmospheric carbon dioxide levels dropped globally, causing planetary cooling. Then, 34 million years ago, it stopped moving. Ice sheets formed across the continent, creating the frozen Antarctica we recognize today. So why might it turn green again? This transformation can only occur if the ice cover melts completely, exposing the soil and bedrock beneath. For this to happen, we essentially need to reverse geological history. If climate change produces dramatically elevated CO2 levels in the distant future, the ice sheet will certainly begin melting, and the continent will likely resume drifting northward. However, Antarctica's ice sheet is phenomenally thick, almost 5 kilometers deep in certain locations. If this entire sheet melted, global sea levels would surge over 60 meters, triggering catastrophic worldwide destruction. If this actually occurs in 50 to 100 million years, we might witness the birth of a brand new lush continent emerging in the southern hemisphere. Even if Antarctica doesn't wander away to become tropical again, we won't necessarily need to wait for a new tropical landmass to appear. 250 million years from now, all Earth's continents will collide together. Mountain ranges will thrust upward, and a new supercontinent will emerge, Pangea Ultima. The most alarming aspect? Research suggests humans would have virtually no chance of surviving on this supercontinent, as it will be lethally hot. This represents a cyclical process. Every 400 to 600 million years, Earth's continents crash back together like some massive planetary Newton's cradle. Australia would border China directly. The Americas would sit adjacent to Africa, and Africa would be crushed into Europe and Asia. This violent process would create spectacular new mountain ranges, potentially dwarfing even the Himalayas and Mount Everest. The terrifying part? This new landmass will become superheated from massive amounts of CO2 erupting from volcanoes and thermal vents resulting from the continental collision. Average temperatures across the supercontinent would soar to 40 or even 50 degrees Celsius. Combined with extreme humidity, these conditions would make survival nearly impossible for mammals. While driving from New York to London to Sydney might sound entertaining, I'll gladly take our current separated continents and cooler climate. Over the next billion years, our sun will undergo changes that will ultimately terminate all life on Earth. As the sun ages, it grows progressively brighter each year. This brightness increases approximately 10% every billion years. While that might not sound dramatic, it will have devastating consequences for the delicate balance sustaining life on our planet. This increased luminosity will trigger a runaway greenhouse effect. Temperatures will skyrocket. Photosynthesis will cease entirely, and Earth's oceans will evaporate completely into space. This is precisely what happened to Venus billions of years ago, and it will mark the absolute end of all terrestrial life. All plant life will be bombarded by lethal UV radiation, causing widespread die-offs, and with them, the entire food chain will collapse catastrophically. Oxygen production will stop. Our atmosphere will become toxic and unbreathable. Any surviving animals, including humans, will face a simple choice: evacuate or perish. Eventually, Earth will lose every drop of surface water to space, leaving behind a desiccated, barren rock being constantly scorched by an ever-brightening sun. This starts the countdown. We have 3 billion years to abandon Earth or face extinction, and I believe we'll succeed. We've already detected over 5,000 exoplanets. I've discussed many of them extensively on this channel, so definitely check out those videos. But over the next 3 billion years, I'm absolutely confident that humanity will set foot on and begin colonizing Earth 2.0. This will represent a monumental milestone in human history. We would no longer be confined to a single star system, a multi-stellar civilization of humans free to explore the cosmos. Don't misunderstand me. It will be extraordinarily difficult and require unimaginable amounts of time, resources, and effort. But given 3 billion years and the fact that we'll eventually be forced to leave Earth to survive, I'm confident we can accomplish it. The opportunities for potential destinations are genuinely endless. Planets featuring ring systems 100 times more spectacular than Saturn's. Worlds where all vegetation is red. Superhabitable planets where humanity could thrive for billions upon billions of years. The possibilities continue indefinitely. We're only going to discover increasingly amazing exoplanets as new telescopes launch. The James Webb Space Telescope has already begun searching for biosignatures on alien worlds. But there's simply too much fascinating science to cover thoroughly in this video, which is why I partnered with Magellan TV. They feature an excellent documentary called Planet Hunting with the James Webb Space Telescope, which explains precisely how astronomers are utilizing JWST to search for Earth 2.0. If you enjoy my videos, I'm certain you'll love this documentary along with hundreds of other outstanding pieces available for streaming right now. What makes it even better is that Magellan TV is completely ad-free. It's simply an affordable way to consume high-quality technology and science content. All you need to do is click the link at the top of the description to sign up today and watch Planet Hunting with the James Webb Space Telescope. Channel viewers will receive a 7-day free trial plus amazing discounts on gift cards for the holiday season. Now, let's leap 1 trillion years into the future. This is the cosmic microwave background, a snapshot of the first light emitted in the universe immediately following the Big Bang. It represents one of the most significant observations ever made by humanity. And approximately 100 billion years from now, it will effectively vanish from our view forever. This occurs because the universe itself continues expanding. Here's the mechanism. As space itself stretches outward, the photons from the CMB are simultaneously being stretched. This phenomenon is known as redshift or Doppler shift. Currently, we detect the CMB as a faint microwave glow, but as time progresses, it will continue shifting further down the electromagnetic spectrum into radio waves. Over 100 billion years, these wavelengths will become so stretched out, decreasing their energy to the point where we'd require a telescope with the size and power of an entire solar system to detect it. So eventually, our faint glimpse of the Big Bang will disappear from view for any observers, locking that primordial information away forever. Now we're jumping so far forward that time essentially becomes meaningless. 100 trillion years from now, the universe will transition into a new and haunting era. Stars will exhaust their fuel and die, plunging the cosmos into eternal darkness. Stars function as the universe's furnaces, forging new heavy elements and igniting galaxies and planetary systems. But every star possesses only finite fuel reserves. Eventually, star formation will cease entirely, with the last stars being born from leftover gas and dust clouds. The more massive the star, the faster it will die. Smaller red dwarf stars will slowly fade away. They're so efficient that they can persist for up to 10 trillion years, but even they will ultimately succumb to time. With no stars remaining to shine, the universe will become a cold and desolate realm, populated only by stellar corpses, black holes, neutron stars, and eventually black dwarfs. After 1 quadrillion years, the first black dwarfs in the universe will form. These bizarre objects are so rare that scientists are confident not a single one exists in our universe today. Black dwarfs represent the ultimate final state of stars, like our sun. When white dwarfs cool down over trillions of years, they lose all remaining energy and cease radiating any light or heat whatsoever. By the time these objects first begin emerging, the universe will have expanded so tremendously and grown so cold that the average temperature of the entire cosmos will approach absolute zero, the coldest temperature theoretically possible. This marks the beginning of a universe's end. But there's still one type of cosmic structure yet to form: zombie galaxies. These are galaxies composed entirely of black holes. After sufficient time passes, the black holes in the universe will consume the remaining black dwarfs and neutron stars. Black holes become the only objects left wandering the cosmos in absolute darkness. Despite the absence of any light to illuminate them, gravity will continue working, creating zombie galaxies, a central supermassive black hole surrounded by hundreds of millions, even billions of smaller black holes orbiting it. These galaxies will bear no resemblance to the vibrant, luminous galaxies we observe today. They'll serve as lonely reminders of what was once a universe filled with spectacular beauty and abundant life. And then, the universe will ultimately reach its conclusion. Black holes will evaporate through Hawking radiation, protons will decay, and the universe will go cold and silent for all eternity. Or will it? The end of the universe is an enormous topic, and astronomers have proposed several different scenarios for how the cosmos might conclude. But let me take you to the absolute edge of existence itself. 10 to the power of 100 years from now, that of 1 followed by 100 zeros, the universe will reach what physicists call heat death or maximum entropy. This is when the universe achieves perfect, unchanging equilibrium. At this point, even the black holes will have completely evaporated. Hawking radiation will have slowly stolen their mass over incomprehensible timescales, photon by photon, until nothing remains. The last supermassive black hole, perhaps trillions of times more massive than our sun, will finally surrender its last particle of matter to the void. What's left is almost too strange to comprehend. The universe will be nothing but an infinite ocean of photons, stretched so thin and so far apart that they essentially cease to interact with anything. The temperature everywhere will be indistinguishable from absolute zero. There will be no energy gradients, no differences in temperature, no way for anything to change or evolve. Time itself becomes meaningless. Without change, without events, without anything happening anywhere, does time even exist anymore? Just when you think the story ends in eternal silence, quantum mechanics offers one final, mind-bending twist. Given infinite time, and I mean truly infinite, quantum fluctuations become not just possible, but inevitable. The same quantum uncertainty that makes particles randomly appear and disappear in empty space means that, eventually, anything that can happen will happen. Over timescales so vast they make the age of our current universe seem like a single heartbeat, random quantum fluctuations could spontaneously create new universes. A quantum fluctuation large enough could trigger another Big Bang, birthing an entirely new cosmos complete with its own physical laws, its own stars, galaxies, and potentially its own forms of life. Think about that. Our entire universe, with its 13.8 billion year history, its trillions of galaxies, its countless stars and planets, all of it could be nothing more than a random quantum blip in an infinitely older parent universe that had already died its heat death eons ago. But it gets even stranger. Those same quantum fluctuations that could create entire universes could also, theoretically, create something far simpler, a single conscious observer, a brain, complete with memories and thoughts, spontaneously fluctuating into existence for just a moment before dissolving back into the quantum foam. This is called a Boltzmann brain, and here's the disturbing part. It's statistically far more likely for a random fluctuation to create a single brain than an entire universe, which means, mathematically speaking, it's more probable that you are a Boltzmann brain, a random fluctuation with false memories of reading this right now, than an actual person in an actual universe. How do you know you're not one of these fleeting quantum ghosts with implanted memories of a life that never really happened, existing in a dead universe for just a fraction of a second? You don't, and you can't. But perhaps the most thrilling possibility of all is that the universe might not end at all, at least not permanently. Some cosmologists propose that our universe could be cyclical. The Big Bang wasn't beginning. It was just the latest beginning. Perhaps after the heat death, after that infinite expanse of nothing, quantum effects or unknown physical laws cause the universe to collapse back in on itself or spontaneously reignite. A big crunch followed by a new Big Bang. Death followed by rebirth. The universe is a phoenix, eternally dying and being reborn, each iteration potentially with different physical constants, different laws of nature, different possibilities for life and consciousness. If this is true, then everything, every star, every planet, every person who has ever lived or will ever live might eventually return, not as memories or echoes, but as exact reconstructions, living out their lives again and again across infinite cycles of cosmic death and rebirth. You might be reading these words not for the first time, but for the trillionth time, in the trillionth iteration of a universe that can never truly die. So here we stand, you and I, on this small blue marble orbiting an average star in an unremarkable galaxy, having journeyed trillions upon trillions of years into the future and witnessed the death and possible rebirth of everything that exists. The universe will outlast us by time frames our minds cannot truly grasp. Jupiter's storm will fade. Earth will freeze, then burn, then die. Stars will go dark. Black holes will evaporate. Everything we know will end. But perhaps, just perhaps, that's not the end of the story. Perhaps in the infinite expanse of time and possibility, new universes will bloom like flowers in an eternal garden. Perhaps consciousness will arise again, look up at alien stars, and wonder the same questions we're wondering now. Perhaps some distant observer, trillions of years hence, will look back through time and wonder about us, just as we wonder about them. The universe may be destined to go dark, but the story of existence itself might be far from over. In fact, it might never end at all. And that, more than anything else, fills me with a sense of wonder that transcends the vast, cold darkness of deep time. Thank you for joining me on this journey to the end of everything. If these cosmic mysteries fascinate you as much as they fascinate me, make sure to subscribe, because if the universe can come back from nothing, the least we can do is keep exploring together. Who knows? Maybe we'll meet again in another universe, in another time, having this exact same conversation, and we'll never even know it's not the first time. But what if I told you that while all of this is happening in our universe, infinite other versions are playing out simultaneously in parallel realities? The multiverse theory suggests that our universe isn't alone. Every quantum decision, every possibility that could happen, does happen somewhere right now as you read this. There could be infinite versions of you across infinite universes, each one having made slightly different choices, living slightly different lives. In one universe, humanity never evolved. In another, we've already colonized 1,000 star systems. In yet another, the laws of physics are so different that stars never formed at all, leaving that universe as an eternal void. Some universes might have already reached their heat death. Others might be experiencing their first moments after the Big Bang. The truly staggering implication? All those future events we discussed, Jupiter losing its great red spot, Antarctica turning green, the sun destroying Earth, the formation of zombie galaxies. They're not just future possibilities. They're already happening right now, somewhere in the infinite multiverse. There's a universe where humanity successfully evacuated Earth and is thriving on a super-habitable world. There's another where we failed and perished with our home planet. There's one where intelligent dinosaurs evolved instead of us. There's one where you decided not to read this article. Now, let me blow your mind even further. What if this entire cosmic journey, from the Big Bang to the heat death and beyond, is actually a simulation? Stay with me here. If advanced civilizations can survive long enough, they would eventually develop technology capable of simulating entire universes. Not just modeling them, but creating perfect, detailed simulations where conscious beings exist and experience life exactly as we do. If such simulations are possible, and if civilizations create them, then simple mathematics suggests something disturbing. There will be far more simulated universes than real ones. Perhaps millions or billions of simulated universes for every one base reality. Which means the odds are overwhelmingly in favor of you, me, everyone you know, and everything you've ever experienced being inside a simulation right now. Think about it. Every event we discussed, the dying stars, the forming black dwarfs, the quantum fluctuations, could all be programmed events in an incomprehensibly advanced cosmic simulation. The creators could be running through different scenarios. What if we extend the stellar lifetime here? What if we increase the dark energy there? What happens to consciousness when the universe goes dark? We could be part of an experiment, running on hardware that exists in a real universe that's already gone through all of these stages. A universe that discovered how to create new universes digitally, seeding them with consciousness, just to see what happens. But here's where things get truly wild. Let's assume humanity survives. Let's assume we make it to Earth 2.0, then Earth 3.0, spreading across the galaxy and beyond. What happens when we merge with our technology? Some futurists predict a technological singularity, a point where artificial intelligence becomes so advanced that it can improve itself recursively, leading to an intelligence explosion. This superintelligence wouldn't be bound by biological limitations. It could think billions of times faster than us, solve problems we can't even comprehend, and manipulate matter and energy in ways that seem like magic. Now imagine this intelligence spreading across the cosmos, not over millions of years, but over billions or trillions. By the time the stars start dying, this intelligence could have become so advanced that it doesn't just observe the universe. It controls it. Picture this. As the universe approaches heat death, this advanced intelligence has learned to manipulate the fabric of space-time itself. It learns to harness the energy from evaporating black holes. It discovers how to reverse entropy locally, creating pockets of order in an ocean of chaos. It might even learn how to prevent the heat death altogether or escape into another universe entirely. Instead of passively watching the cosmos die, consciousness itself could become a universe's immune system, fighting against entropy, preserving information, and ensuring that the story never truly ends. Perhaps right now, in our distant future, there's a version of humanity, or whatever we've evolved into, that has become so powerful it can reach back through time and influence events. Maybe they're the ones who triggered the Big Bang. Maybe they're the reason the physical constants are so perfectly tuned for life. Maybe they've been guiding the universe all along, ensuring that consciousness will rise and eventually become powerful enough to save existence itself. This brings us to one of the most profound theories ever proposed, the Omega Point. Physicist Frank Tipler suggested that as the universe approaches its final moments, intelligence and information processing don't slow down. They speed up. An infinitely intelligent civilization could potentially experience an infinite amount of subjective time in the final moments before the universe ends. In those last fleeting seconds of cosmic time, the superintelligence could run simulations of every possible universe, every possible life, every possible thought. It could resurrect every consciousness that ever existed, giving them eternal life within its simulations. It could become, essentially, God, an all-knowing, all-powerful entity that contains within itself every moment, every being, every story that ever was or could be. From the perspective of this omega point intelligence, the heat death isn't an ending, it's an apotheosis. The universe doesn't die. It transcends, collapsing into a single point of infinite consciousness that experiences everything, everywhere, all at once, forever. And if this is true, then you and I, everyone who has ever lived or will ever live, might eventually be resurrected by this omega point entity. We might get to experience not just our own lives, but the lives of every being across cosmic history. We might become part of something so vast and so profound that our current existence is just a tiny fragment of a much larger, eternal story. After traveling trillions of years into the future, exploring quantum fluctuations, multiverses, simulations, and godlike intelligences, we arrive at the most humbling realization of all. We simply don't know. We don't know if the universe will truly die or be reborn. We don't know if we're living in base reality or a simulation. We don't know if consciousness will transcend entropy or perish with it. We don't know if this is our first time experiencing these moments or our billionth. And you know what? That uncertainty might be the most thrilling part of all, because it means the story is still being written. It means that what we do now in this moment, in this universe, might actually matter in ways we can't even imagine. Our choices, our discoveries, our attempt to understand and explore this magnificent cosmos, they could be the seeds that ensure consciousness survives into that unimaginable future. Every time we look up at the stars with wonder, every time we push the boundaries of science, every time we ask, what if, we're participating in the universe's attempt to understand itself. We're part of the cosmic story, and our chapter isn't over yet. So here's what I want you to take away from this journey through deep time. Yes, Jupiter's great red spot will fade. Yes, Earth will eventually become uninhabitable. Yes, the stars will go dark, and the universe will grow cold. These events are coming, and they're inevitable. But between now and then, there's an eternity of possibility. There's a possibility that we'll discover we're not alone in the universe. That somewhere out there, another civilization is looking up at their stars and wondering the same things we are. Maybe they're ahead of us, already spreading through their galaxy. Maybe they're behind us, just beginning their journey. Maybe they've been here all along, watching and waiting. There's a possibility that we'll unlock the secrets of consciousness, of reality, of existence itself. That we'll learn how to manipulate space-time, travel faster than light, create new universes, or even cheat death itself. There's a possibility that the very act of observing the universe, of trying to understand it, somehow shapes its ultimate fate. That consciousness isn't just a passenger in this cosmic journey. It's a driver. And there's a possibility, remote but real, that you, reading these words right now, are part of something far grander than you realize. That your thoughts, your choices, your existence are all threads in a cosmic tapestry that stretches from the Big Bang to the heat death and beyond. The universe has given us this incredible gift. We're conscious beings, capable of understanding our place in the cosmos, capable of contemplating these vast stretches of time, capable of dreaming about futures so distant they make our current problems seem microscopic. We're living in the most exciting era possible, when the universe is young enough that stars still shine, old enough that we've evolved intelligence, and at just the right moment where we can begin to understand it all. So don't take it for granted. Look up the night sky and realize you're seeing light that has traveled for years, decades, even millions of years to reach your eyes. Realize that you're made of star stuff, atoms forged in the hearts of dying stars billions of years ago. Realize that you're a way for the universe to know itself. And realize that even though we'll miss most of the cosmic events yet to come, we get to be here for this part of the story. We get to be the characters who look forward with wonder, who ask the big questions, who dare to imagine what lies beyond the darkness. That's not something to mourn. That's something to celebrate. This journey has taken us from Jupiter's shrinking storm to the potential rebirth of infinite universes. We've explored ice ages and tropical Antarcticas, dying stars and zombie galaxies, quantum resurrections, and cosmic gods. But this is just the beginning. There are so many more mysteries to explore, so many more questions to ask, so many more journeys through space and time waiting for us. The universe is vast beyond measure, strange beyond imagination, and more wonderful than we can possibly comprehend. And the best part? We're only just starting to understand it. So subscribe, stay curious, and join me as we continue exploring the cosmos together. Because if billions of years have taught us anything, it's that the universe always has one more surprise waiting. See you in the next video, or perhaps in another universe. We're watching it right now. The adventure never truly ends. It only transforms.